Hello and welcome back, audience. My name is MassiveBrad and welcome to another Fantasy Premier League video. Now, before we get into today's video, I just want to say a huge big thank you for love and support on the channel. And as you guys might remember, at the start of season 2019/20, I did one of these videos and it was me going through the Fantasy Premier League website, creating my own fantasy team, doing my squad selection, creating a team of 15 players from all different teams within the Premier League and creating my own league. This is back for another season and probably something I'm going to do every year because it'd be great for all the newcomers, the new subscribers, the new watchers to also get involved in this. Now, it was the first year me doing it last year with you guys. I've done it for years and years and years, but it was the first year I brought it to the YouTube channel and asked you guys to get involved. And to say thank you to you guys getting involved, I said that the winner would get a £20 Amazon gift card. And what I planned to do was do a video at the start of the season of me creating my team, creating the league, talking about different players and whatnot. And then do a video at the end of the season and announce who won the league, who won the £20 gift card, how many points I got, when I used my treble captain, all the nitty gritty bits. But unfortunately, we were hit with COVID-19, coronavirus this year, where the football had to go, all sports went, it was a little bit messy, then it come back, but fans weren't allowed, and pretty much just everything in 2020 right now due to COVID-19 is messed up. That's the way it was, and unfortunately, I didn't get a chance. And I did forget, unfortunately, because it had been such a long time, because I'd done the video at the start of last season. Then with all COVID, the season was much longer than expected. But what I plan on doing moving forward is like I originally planned. A video at the start of the season starts in 4 weeks, and just yesterday, Fantasy announced that you can now create your Premier League squad selection. The players are in there with their new prices. You can create your team, which we'll do in just a moment's time. Then at the end of the season, I'll of course do the announcement of who won the league, how many points I got, all the nitty gritty stuff that I should have done. Now, unfortunately, as I've logged into my account, I can't see at the moment the league from last year. I cannot see the MassiveBrad league. So I can't announce who the winner is. But I am hoping that after we select our squad, it will bring up the league from last year. I can announce who the winner is. And if you are that winner and that is your team, drop a comment down below and we'll get in touch via email, or Twitter or Instagram, however we get in touch, and I will send you your Amazon £20 gift card. You have to prove to me though that it is your team. So whether that's a screenshot, whether you're logged into the team, you'll have to prove to me that your team. And if it is you, then I'll send you your well-deserved £20 Amazon gift card. This year, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be exactly the same. Through this video, I will be choosing my squad, and then I'll be creating the league if the league isn't already there. And if it is already there, then I'll be giving you the access code. I will also leave it down below in the description and the comment section. And all you need to do is, if you're a new Fantasy Premier League player, then you come to fantasy.premierleague.com. It's not sponsored. You can sign up for free, create your team, and you do exactly like I'm about to do in just a moment's time. You can then use a code when you're trying to join a league and it'll put you in the MassiveBrad league. And then basically we all just go head to head and try and win the league. If you win it, you're going to get a £20 gift card. But what I plan on doing is this video at the start and then a video at the end of the season, probably right after the last game week. And then I can announce who won it and all the nitty gritty stuff. Now you can see here, pick your squad. Use your budget of 100 million to pick a squad of 15 players from the Premier League. It's only Premier League players. And if we go over now, so as you sign in, you can see I'm signed in as MassiveBrad. The 2020/21 Premier League fixtures are yet to be announced. Fixtures will display in FPL shortly after they have been released. Once you've created your account, you just need to click squad selection and it'll bring you over here where you have a blank team and you have to select 15 players. 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders, 3 forwards. Obviously, then it's down to you as to what formation you want to play, whether you want to play 3 defenders, 5 midfielders, 3 strikers. It's entirely up to you, but you have to have a goalkeeper on the bench and 3 other players. You only have a starting 11. Now, I will try and drop a link down below to somebody's YouTube video explaining what Fantasy Premier League is if you want to go and watch it and you are a new player to the Fantasy Premier League.
You're here because A, you have a genuine interest in playing the Fantasy Premier League this year, or B, your colleagues in work won't stop banging on about it, you've been pressured into joining what they're calling a mini-league, and now in some pitiful attempt at fitting in, you've ended up here. Well, the good news is, if you fit into either of these categories, you've come to the right place. So let's start with the very basics and get on with our 5-minute crash course in how to play the Fantasy Premier League. Warning, playing FPL is highly addictive. It may cause stress, a loss of free time, a resentment towards friends or colleagues, and a dislike to football in general. Please, FPL responsibly. So, if you are new to FPL, you're probably thinking, what the hell is it? Well, the FPL, or Fantasy Premier League in full, is the official and by far most popular fantasy football game of the English Premier League. Home to over 4.5 million managers last season alone. To sign up, all you have to do is head over to fantasy.premierleague.com, hit sign up, and follow the on-screen instructions, which will simply involve putting in some of your details, such as your email, your name, your password, and then responding to a confirmation email. Great, so now that you're signed up, we move on to the most important part, your team selection. In FPL, you must select a squad of 15 players in total, from all players currently participating in the Barclays Premier League. You can't just select any old player though, you're limited to 2 goalkeepers, 5 defenders, 5 midfielders and 3 forwards, and you can only select a maximum of just 3 players per club. You're also limited to a fantasy transfer budget of £100 million. However, the better the player, the more they're going to cost you, so you've got to be thrifty with your spending. Each player has their own individual price based on FPL potential and past season performances. So a high caliber player, for example Harry Kane, is going to cost you a lot more than a striker from a recently promoted club. Player prices will change as the season progresses, with values moving up or down depending on their performances and popularity, so again, you've got to remain vigilant with your spending budget, and keep an eye on those transfer values. Once you're happy with how your team's looking, hit submit, and now comes another big decision, your team name. Now, you must be informed that having a good team name is engraved into FPL folklore, and a bad one can lose you some serious brownie points with friends and colleagues alike. Get creative, avoid anything cringy, and you'll be on to a winner. Team names are changeable throughout the season though, so don't panic too much if you can't decide right away, just make sure to make it a good one. Okay, so you've picked your team. Now, how do you score points? All the points earned in FPL will be based on your player's real-life performances. So if your striker scores in real life, he'll get you points in the game. Perhaps your midfielder gets an assist, he'll get you points. Or maybe your defender or goalkeeper keeps a clean sheet, he doesn't concede any goals, then he'll get you points as well. A breakdown of all points players can pick up from each position can be found under the rules section of the official FPL website. Each game week, you must select 11 players from your original 15-man squad to actively score you points for that particular week. The players that you place on your bench won't score you points for that week, unless someone else in your team doesn't play, and then they'll automatically be substituted in. During every game week, you'll also have to select your team captain. This is a hugely important decision for FPL managers, because your captain will earn double the points for that week. So, your team's submitted, but some of your players are underperforming and you want to make some transfers. Well, on FPL, you're permitted to make as many transfers as you like from week to week. However, there's a catch. Only 1 transfer per week is free. Each and every other additional change will take -4 points from your overall score. The more transfers you make within a game week, the more points you'll lose, and therefore the bigger risk you take. If you choose not to use your free transfer for 1 game week, it will carry over to the next, but you can only ever have a maximum of 2 free transfers per game week. It won't ever increase to any more than 2. And lastly, for the basics of our FPL crash course, is your chips. FPL chips are essentially power-ups that can be utilised at any point during the season. These chips, or power-ups, are the bench boost, where for 1 week, your bench players all become active in your point scoring. The triple captain, where for 1 week, your team captain will get his points multiplied by 3 rather than 2. And the free hit chip, which is a brand new chip for this season. This allows you to completely change your team for 1 week only, selecting any players that you like within your budget before then switching back to your original squad the following week. And finally, the wild card, which allows you to completely overhaul your squad permanently, permitting you to unlimited transfers for a game week at no cost to your points. All the chips can only be used once per season, except for the wild card, which can be played twice. Once before December the 31st and once after. Of course, all of this information can be found more in detail on the official website. Be sure to stay tuned and subscribe to FPL TV for future videos on how best to utilise these chips.
You can also come to this website, and I do believe if you highlight on more and go to about, it'll explain how the point system works, it'll explain what the game's about, and so on. But I don't want this video to be too long. I just want to talk to you guys about what team I'm going to create this year, pick some players, explain to you why I've picked those players, and also just have a general chit chat over the Premier League over the last year, why I'm picking players on the fact of last year, because obviously that's the whole point. You need to sort of pick players that were maybe coming into form or had a great season, like Kevin De Bruyne. He is there. You can see top midfielder. He was top with 251 points. I do believe he was only 10.5 million last year. He's now 11.5. So the prices do go up depending on how the player got on. You can see Trent, our lad Trent, is now 7.5. He started at 6 million last season, but because he had such a cracking season and was, I do believe, the top assister for a defender and was up there pretty much with like De Bruyne, considering he is a midfielder, his price has now gone up to 7.5. But we start with the goalkeepers. So I'll go up to view. We won't view all players. We'll view just goalkeepers. And the first goalkeeper I'm picking is actually number 2 on the list. Number 1 was Nick Pope from Burnley, who had a cracking season and finished on 170 points. But the man that I'm picking for my first keeper is this man here, Dean Henderson. So if we add this player, you can see him now in that first goalkeeper spot. Now we need to pick 2 goalkeepers, but I'll explain as I go along why I'm picking these players. Dean Henderson was unbelievable at Sheffield United. And unfortunately for Sheffield United, Manchester United are going to recall him this season. And I know this because Sheffield United have just bought Ramsdale from Bournemouth for 18.5 million. So Ramsdale is going to become their number 1 keeper. Now, I may look at bringing Ramsdale in because I think Sheffield United have got an unbelievable team. But I'm going to go with Dean Henderson at the start of the season. I think David De Gea is done for at Manchester United. I think if Ollie wants to keep his job, and Manchester United were coming into decent form towards the end of the Premier League, although they have just been knocked out by Sevilla in the Europa League tonight. But I think realistically, Dean Henderson is going to get a shot at United. I think he is going to become the number 1 keeper over David De Gea, and I think personally that is probably the best move to bring him in at goalkeeper, because David De Gea making loads of mistakes towards the end of the season and pretty much throughout the season. So he finished down in, to be honest, he finished in 5th position, which isn't too bad, I suppose, but he did make a lot of mistakes. So I've now got Henderson in. The other man I'm going to go for is this man here, Matt Ryan for Brighton. Firstly, he's only 4.5 million. And secondly, I had him throughout the whole season last year. And he's a shot stopper. He saves penalties. He was unbelievable throughout the season. And at 4.5, you don't want to be spending too much on goalkeepers. At the end of the day, you can only have one goalkeeper week in and week out. If you spend 6 million on Ederson and 6 million on Alisson, you've already spent 12 million of your 100 million budget remaining, and we've only selected 2 players, so really you don't want to spend too much. I've gone with Henderson, who's going to be my number 1, and then I'm going to have Matt Ryan as my number 2. Now, although I'm creating this team today, by the time the league kicks off, I may have changed it a lot. I may not have changed it at all, because between now and the first day of the league, you can make as many changes as you want. You can change players, take players out. If there's a player sold to a different league, obviously you can't have that player anymore, so you can sell them and bring someone else in. So I'm just letting you guys know, although you'll see me create my team now, it might not be like this by the start of the season. But we've picked our 2 goalkeepers. We're now going to look at defenders, and this is where it becomes a little bit difficult, because I did have Trent throughout the whole of last season, but he's very expensive. So what I'm going to do is I am, in fact, going to put Trent Alexander-Arnold in for one of my defenders. But you can see the money is already now taking a massive hit, and I've only selected 3 players. So I'm going to continue to go through, and I'll just see if I can manage to keep Trent in, or whether I'm potentially going to have to downgrade for, you know, a cheaper defender, maybe go for your 5.5 Tarkowski. Whether I can afford 7.5, maybe I could come down to Robertson at 7 million. We will have to wait and see. But straight away, if we scroll down a little bit more, These three here, Stevens, Baldock and Egan, were unbelievable for Sheffield United. Unbelievable. You can see that they're ahead of Chelsea players, Manchester United players, Tottenham players, Wolves players, Everton players, Leicester players. Sheffield United were solid at the back. And I do believe I had Baldock for the whole season. But I think I'm going to slightly change that up. I think, or maybe I don't. If we click on this, so we can see goals scored 2 and assists 1 for John Egan throughout the whole season. Baldock, 2 goals, 4 assists. I think Baldock is the one for me. So we're going to go ahead. Let's see Stevens. 2 goals. So he got exactly the same as Baldock. I think for now, since they're the same price, we'll put Baldock in there for 5.5. Now for me, I always play 3 defenders. That's just the way I play. So once I pick this next third defender, I can go cheap on the next 2 defenders, as long as they're playing though, because what you guys are going to remember is, if you were to select Trent and he doesn't play, you've bought him for 7.5, his value will start dropping, you'll lose money. So you want to make sure you're picking players from the start that are certainly going to play. The other defender that I had was Dunk, who was 4.5, and I also rotated with Azpilicueta. I did like Azpilicueta a lot, and especially towards the end of the season. But I think, it's a tough one. It is a tough one. You've also got to try and think of players that have been bought, like for example Manchester City, Nathan Akey. If we go to City, where is Akey? Akey is 5.5 million. Do I think he is going to play for Manchester City? I do. I think he's going to be partnered with Laporte. The only issue is though, is I always try and go for a left back or right back, just because they tend to get assists and get more up the pitch. Whereas if you're going for a centre back, yes, you can get the clean sheets. Are they going to score many goals? It's a tough one. But I think, this is where you really need to sort of look through the team, see who's been brought in. Do I just bring Azpilicueta in again? I did like Azpilicueta. What about Arsenal? David Luiz was top. I'd like to bring Robertson in, but I just know it's going to cost me far too much money. Leicester. I did like Sionsu. Sionsu was decent. Ben Chilwell, is he on his way to Chelsea? I think for now, I will go. I think I'm actually going to go Nathan Akey. I think we'll bring him in. We've got 71.5 million left. We're now going to go pretty cheap, but off Manchester City, just defenders, and see who we can bring in for under the 5. So we've completed our defenders and goalkeepers. We've got Henderson and Ryan, Trent, Baldock, Aki, Dunk and Douglas. See, now I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I only played 3 defenders. I've already got Trent, I've got Baldock, I've got Aki. Do I need Dunk? Probably not. So I'm going to cheap on Dunk here. I'm going to pick somebody else to come in at 4 million. Let's bring Leif Davies in. I think that's what we need to do, because I can save myself $1 million there by not bringing in the £5 million man, Dunk, and bringing in Davis instead, or Davies, however you pronounce it. So moving on to the midfielders, we've got 63.5 million. The first one going in is KDB. It's just got to happen. He was unbelievable throughout the last season, and he's certainly a player that I do want in my squad. We've then got Salah and Mane. Realistically, because of funds, you've just got to pick one of these, and although it's tough to pick between them, they both had great seasons. Mane really stepped up this season. Obviously, the season before, Salah was all over it. Mane really stepped up, but it's a tough one, because Aubameyang has now changed from a striker to a midfielder as well. And when you look at this list, there's some incredible players. Willian has now gone to Arsenal as well. He's surely going to play. It is very, very tough. So I think I'm going to go Salah. I'm going to bring Willian in for Arsenal. He's certainly going to play. I had Lordstrom, so I'm going to bring Lordstrom in. And I do like Pulisic, but if I bring Pulisic in, I'm really struggling now up top. Really, really struggling. So I think we'll leave, or maybe I'll just see if there's a cheap, maybe £5 million. Declan Rice is there, Dendoncker. Dendoncker's not bad, you know. Dendoncker did get goals now and again. So we'll bring him in for now, which leaves us now 21.5 million to spend on the front 3. Now, one man that I did have last season was Mason Greenwood. Now, I believe, actually, Mason Greenwood might be a midfielder, and if he is, he's someone that I'm probably going to bring in now. Greenwood is now 7.5, he was only 4.5, and he does now play in the midfield. So I think what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to drop now William, and I'm going to bring in Mason Greenwood to play in the midfield, which frees me up $500,000 back, as I was going to get William for 8. I've now got Greenwood for 7.5. So we can now go and change the forwards. It's going to be a tough one, this. Martial was in great form. Danny Ings, who was 6.5, is now 8.5. It is really tough to sort of pick your front three. Aguero, he was out injured, but he did have a great season. And obviously, if you scroll down from your team, you normally see the fixtures here. Of course, the fixtures aren't out yet, so you'll have to wait for them. I just kind of want to pick a front three. I don't know how I'm going to play this. I don't know if I'm going to play 5 in the midfield and just maybe play 1 striker. I could just spend a bit of money on 1 striker and go from there. So let's say I was to bring... Ooh, do I bring Harry Kane? Do I go Aguero at the same price? Let's say I brought Aguero in. Leaves me 11.5. Let's get a real cheap. Let's go with Davis from Aston Villa. And then I've got 7 mil left. So I could free up a little bit of money here in the midfield. I don't have to buy someone that's 7 mil. Oh, I did like Maupay. And I did have Maupay last year. Antonio was also a good one. He did score 4 goals towards the end of the season. Ooh, let's get Maupay in, which leaves us now $500,000 to spend in the midfield. So we've got Lordstrom and Dendoncker. If we're to switch back to the midfielders, and let's go 6 million. Lordstrom's still top. If I was to go 5.5, can I get better than Dendoncker? There is a few players, but I can bring Gini, Matinho, Henderson, Westwood. Having said that, Henderson doesn't score too many. Gini doesn't score too many. I don't know if I would probably stick with Dendoncker. What I could do now is I could spend a little bit of money at the back. It's just now about spending this 0.5, this 500k. You don't necessarily have to spend it, but if I was to go to defenders and go 4.5, can I bring anyone in and drop out Davis instead? You know what, guys? I think I'm going to go with that. I'm quite happy. And if you guys want to screenshot and send me on Instagram or Twitter what your team looks like, but we're going to enter this squad. Team name, of course, we're going Calm FC once again. Favourite club, there's only one club that's my favourite club. We can agree to the terms and conditions, enter the squad, and Calm FC is reborn. There we go. MassiveBrad in charge of Calm FC. That's what we like to see now. If we scroll down, there is no league. I have not been put in the league from last season. And there is your code. Right there. I'll put it on screen for you, but it is WLV3QR. I'll put it nice and big on the screen, flashing for you guys so you can't miss it. So then all you need to do is when you're on my team, you scroll down on the right, you can see now we've got a classic league. You go to create and join leagues. You want to join a league. It's a private league. And you're going to put that code right there. That was last year's code, 5T47NX. You've obviously got the new code. I've just put it on screen for you guys. I'll also put it in the description and the comment section down below. Put the league code in there, and then you will join the league, and you'll be entered in here. So it won't just be my name. Your team name will be there. You're the manager name, and we'll get a big list. So if you guys do want to get involved, make sure to go and join the league and get involved. And after all, there's a £20 Amazon gift card up for grabs. But you have seen my team. The last thing I want to do is just make sure it's set up how I would like it. So we can swap Davis out for Maupay. We got Henderson. Oh, I want to take Davis out there and put Dendoncker in. That is how my first week, as it stands right now, is going to line up. We've got Dean Henderson between the sticks, Trent Baldock and Aki at the back, Dendoncker, De Bruyne, Salah, Greenwood and Lundstrom in the midfield, with Aguero and Maupay up top. That is how I am setting up for the start of the season. Now obviously you can go over here and design your kit, but I'll do all that off camera. Didn't want this video to be too long. It was just basically announcing to you guys that if you've ever done fantasy football before, ever played fantasy Premier League before, come and join the league, come and have a go, see if you can beat me. Screenshot me your team, send it on Twitter or Instagram so I can see how you're lining up. Or if you want to keep it a secret, that is entirely up to you. You may have a player in there that could be a tasty player that if you do put it on Twitter or Instagram, people may well copy. If you've got a bit of a secret hidden talent, like I went for Lordstrom, who ended up being unbelievable, didn't tell people about him, just brought him in on my own, and he was absolutely unbelievable for a player. So maybe you might want to keep it to yourself, but I would appreciate if a lot of you guys could come over, join. I think we had about 20 or 25 players last year in the MassiveBrad League. It'd be great if we could get to 40, maybe even push for 50. I know a lot of the lads that play pro clubs for Calm Club want to get involved and join. So if you're one of them and you're watching this right now, come and join the league. Come and see if you can win it. And it will be a fun experience. And the next time I upload a Premier League video, it'll be at the end of the season, announcing who the winner was. And unfortunately, guys, I can't see right now who won the league last year. I'm going to try and find out if I can sort of work out how I can see it, and then I'll try and get in touch or see if I can find the email address to get in touch with them to see if, you know, I can get the voucher to them. Unfortunately, I probably should have done the video before the end of it. So if you did win the league and you've got proof, please do get in touch. Obviously, I want to make sure that you get your £20 Amazon gift card. If you did win the league, I can only apologise, obviously, because it was all a bit messed up. I forgot to do a video at the end of the season because of how long the season was. So, unfortunately, now there's no way I can see. As of now, I'll do it all off camera, though, to try and work out who won it. I can't see who won it, but I will certainly try my best and try and find out how I can get that gift card to you if you did legit win the league. But we'll go again this season. I'll make sure to do a video at the end of the season before the season finishes and you can't get into your old account anymore, because obviously as I signed in, I had to start again. I just had to create the league again, which is a little bit of a bummer. But here we are, Fantasy Premier League. 4 weeks till the Premier League kicks off. You can see my starting 11 on the field, and hopefully you guys will join in and get involved too. But that is going to do it for today's video, guys. If you have enjoyed it, please do give it a big thumbs up for me. Don't forget to drop your comments down below. If you're new around here, click that subscribe button. Don't forget to share this with your friends and family. And I've been MassiveBrad. Peace out.